How are you? Hope you're good. In today's CAWPILE review, we have Sleeping Giants. It's a science fiction book about a group of people who are involved in this secret project that they don't necessarily even know the purpose of. It's run by a very manipulative, secretive person who sort of controls them all bit by bit, and it's about finding these ancient yet modern pieces of giantess in, you know, metal form. Giant metal woman actually has some power, and speculating what does it all mean. This book is also only written through dialogue because it only is represented through audio recordings of interviews by this main manipulative person. So let's begin Le CAWPILE. For the characters, I gave this book a 9 because this is only written in dialogue, so you definitely need good characters and plot to carry this type of book. The characters were very diverse, and this was an audiobook for me, and it had a full cast, and it was really good. The main thing I look for in the character categories is whether or not I care what happens to the characters, and I did really grow to like some of them. They had a bunch of character development. There was betrayal, there was love, there was pain, there was loss, and I specifically enjoyed our interviewer because it was such an interesting persona to read about and to see how he plots everything, and is just so unreliable, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. For atmosphere, I gave it 8.5. I found this book somehow atmospheric even though it had no descriptions, and I thought just for that it has to be quite a good score. Everything also takes place on Earth. There's nothing like sci-fi, no, out of space. I could see their labs, I could see the giant, I could see the space within that, I could see the hospital at one point. It was very smart the way that they represented the atmosphere in this type of book. It was definitely not a driving factor for the book, the atmosphere, because, you know, they really focus on other things, but I felt like there was no lack of it either. For the writing style, I gave it an 8. As I said, I think that it was very smart, and I think that it was very appealing to me as a reader because I do not like over descriptive books, but I wouldn't say that it was extremely outstanding and that I was just like wanting to actually pick up a physical copy and just highlight everything, you know. It wasn't something extremely mind-blowing, but it was really interesting, so I give it an 8. For the plot, I actually had to go ahead and give it a 10 because it was really gripping. It was just constantly pushing for more. Everything moved quickly, but sometimes you wouldn't even realize it until like later point, and there were so many things in like behind the scenes that it would surface later on, and I just absolutely loved it. And very similar with intrigue, I also gave it a 10 because of those secrets you would just want to read more and more and more. For the logic, I gave it an 8. That might be because I chose to listen to this on audiobook. I didn't expect to like this book so much when I picked it up. So there was a point just after the middle towards the end where I started sort of daydreaming a little bit, and at some point I couldn't figure out where I started daydreaming, but at some point I was like, wait, what? What is happening? So I'm not entirely certain if it was because I was not paying that much attention or it was because the actual book, but obviously this is my experience, so I gave it an 8 for the logic because I just felt something didn't entirely like made sense close to the end, not the very end, but just close to it. For enjoyment, I gave it a 9. In general, it was a very steady 10 for me, but I had to take that 1 point off because of that performance and because of I just didn't care about that part of the book. Enjoyment was a 9. It was a very strong, but at the same time I do think that the voice actors, especially for like the main group, were amazing. They were so good. You win some and you lose some, I suppose. So in general it was 8.9, and it was a very close to 5 stars because that begins at 9, but I do think that a very strong 4-star rating is pretty accurate towards my feelings to the book. I will definitely continue with the series. I think this is a trilogy, and the last one is called Only Human and it's gonna come out in May, I believe. Definitely will continue. I am still not sure if I'm gonna do it through audiobooks or just gonna go ahead and reread this one and then read the other ones, or just go and read the other ones. I don't know. Let me know if you guys read this book and if you're planning to. Let me know what your thoughts were, and yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you are wondering what the CAWPILE thing is, I do have a video explaining it. If you want to check that out, you can go ahead and do that. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!